and good evening, and welcome to the what? Truth behind the
Behind
truth.
the truth.
Yes, indeed. Thank you guys for tuning in. Whether tonight as your favorite evening show on Saturday nights comes on, bringing you information light, love, and health. All right,
A lot of light.
A lot of light. Okay, definitely. Want to welcome again always our Instagram family, Facebook family, and our YouTube family, and our TikTok family. Those that take the time out each week to be a part of what we've got going on, and especially our UK family. Man, you know, when we got that call from Cheryl, let us know that the UK was watching us a few weeks ago. That was awesome. You know, that was really awesome. Somebody finally letting us know that they had been watching us in the UK. We knew it, but it's good to know that when people let you know that. So it was definitely awesome thing, and we're really excited about that. Want to remind you guys, in the next few weeks, we'll be in what we're calling kicking with the fellas, hanging with the fellas, however you want to look at it. All right. We're having some special guests stopping in with us as we do this next series on just basically hot topics, talking about those special guests and what they've got going, typically from the acting community. Those are the ones that are going to be with us. Tonight, we have an awesome gentleman, all right? One of the best actors out there on the planet, next to Parnell, okay? And me, and Earl, and Dylan. We love him dearly, but we will be joined by actor Kevin Savage tonight. We'll be hearing from him and all the wonderful things that he's got going on and sharing. We're excited about having him tonight. Next week, actor Keith Burke will be back with us. You guys remember him from the Have and Have Nots. Oh, wow. So he'll be back with us again next week. I think after him, actor or actress, as plural, non-plural, okay. Coco Brown will be back with us. All right, so we're excited about Coco coming back. Then we have was actor Tara will be back with us. Tara Jones will be back with us as well. Right. So we got the flow going. All right, we have the flow going. All right, looking forward to hearing what they have to say. Talking about the issues and everything of hot topics of the week, day, hour, and second. Yes. All right. So let me check in with my brother before we go to commercial and say hi to everybody and all that good stuff. Harold, how you doing, sir?
I'm good. I'm blessed and highly favored, as I said earlier.
Yes, it's good to see you.
Blessed and highly favored.
It's good to see you. Good to see you with some clothes on.
Well, I do put on clothes every now and again.
Why did he even have to bring that up?
I don't know. Look,
unless I need to make some money.
My brother got really. You didn't see this one. My brother got really risky this way. He had a towel in front of him. I was like, okay, you know what? I'm done. Okay.
I said if my mama was still living, she would have been like, "Boy, you better go put on some clothes."
I'm like, and then he back it up and had a shooting tie on after that. I'm like, okay, you know what?
You got to show the versatility.
Okay.
You got to show what they call it. You got to show the actual tools.
Okay, the making of the process,
the making
right?
of the process, which is the juice,
right?
The results of the juice, and we
all of the components of who we are. We're sensual beings. We're intellectual. We're all that. We all that.
Exactly.
Don't deny your sensuality.
Right. So I can't say I wasn't done, which I said, okay, I looked at his like. The man had over 15K like. It said Harold broke the internet on Facebook said, okay, we can't handle this. It's like they'll give him 2 separate accounts,
you are not the only one.
Well, I say I agree with Maya Angelou. Maya Angelou says the 50s are everything you were meant to be.
Okay, wow.
Everything you were meant to be. That's what the 50s are.
Got you. And really, honestly, at the end of the day, there's nothing wrong expressing it in a very tasteful manner in what you do. Hey, at the end of the day,
as long as I don't drop the towel.
Well, you drop the towel, but you have to call your page another page at that point.
Okay, that's topic. Cornell, how are you doing? Let's go on to the next. It's just gonna get too touchy. I don't want to get too like acting like Megan McCain.
Right. Oh my God, we'll say that for hot topic. I want to talk about that one tonight. Oh boy, I want to talk about that one tonight. All right, Cornell, how you doing, brother?
I am absolutely scandalized by Harold's behavior.
Scandalized.
Well, and of course, anybody who knows my Instagram is like, you lying.
Black called, what was it? Called the
Kettle
kettle
black.
Right.
Pot calling kettle black.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
I know that's the truth.
Yeah.
That is so true.
Nothing wrong in being free. I think you need to be comfortable in your own skin. A lot of people. Listen, I just couldn't do it. I think back in college days I was that free, but as you get up and older, you start to act more like a, what you call, not like a Quaker. What do you call those types of people who cover up? Like, I just
More conservative, I guess.
more conservative. Yeah.
Well, I must be having the opposite.
I know.
Like, I've become freer as I've gotten older.
Right, I see. And typically Geminis are not that free. You know what I mean? As a rule, we're not really that free. I mean,
Y'all more extroverted.
Yeah, what I'm saying, but we're not
Extroverted
free
with
as
your
to
freedom.
right. Well,
Yeah.
but not. And then again, you're just embracing a new you. At the end of the day, that's what we're looking at it that way. You're embracing a new you, and that's okay.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
okay. And if it helps the DM slide, hey, go for it. All right. Well, anyway, we're gonna move on.
Right.
It's really real.
It's really real up in here. Okay. All right. Hey, Ethel. Hey, Twan. I want to say hey to our they're tuning in tonight. Glad to have you guys. But anyway, we're gonna go to a quick commercial break. All right, and then we're gonna bring our dear brother tonight. Actor, they're phenomenal actor. Oh my gosh, of Lovecraft and what's the game? Not the game, the other one, the Quad. And all those other wonderful things that he's done. And we'll talk about that a little bit with him tonight as well. Anyway, we're going to have a quick break, and we'll be back with actor Kevin Savage.
Woo. Yeah.
Every single day, I'm gonna make something great. That's my way. Every single day, I'm gonna make something great. That's my way.
All right, welcome back, guys. Thank you again for tuning in to The Truth Behind the Truth tonight. Always want to welcome our Facebook family, YouTube family, Instagram family, TikTok family, and our UK family. Thank you for taking the time out being a part of us tonight. Also want to remind you, please, to go ahead and share, like. If you're tuning in from the YouTube side, please share and like, put it out there. Let's get these numbers up. We want to get those numbers up. And if you're on the Instagram side, share as well. And if you're definitely on the Facebook side, please be sure you can share it right now, doing your own watch party and asking anybody else to join you as well in this wonderful discussion that we're going to have tonight, which we're calling Kicking It with the Fellas. All right. So let's get ready to start kicking. All right. We want to welcome back to the show our dear brother. Hey, one of the I won't say upcoming because he's not upcoming. He's already acting. He's like got his chops in the game, and we are looking forward to him eventually walking across that Oscar stage with all the rest of us. We're getting ready for that Oscar because it's gonna happen. We done put it in the universe, and it's gonna happen. Ain't that right, partner? Hey, all
with
right.
the shirt on.
Hey, with a shirt on. Okay.
We still haven't gotten off of that.
Hey, with a shirt
With
on.
the shirt
All right.
on.
All right. Welcoming back to the show, our dear brother, Kevin, actor Kevin Savage. Yay! Yes, indeed. There he is. Hey,
Okay.
brother. How you doing?
I'm blessed, man. I'm blessed. How's everybody?
Good.
Excellent.
Great.
Excellent. Good to
Good.
see you, man. Good to see you as always. Always. Look good. Hey, that acting work doing you good, man. You looking kind of, you got a glow going on. You know what I'm saying?
All him.
Oh, okay. It's not the makeup today. It's otherwise, right? Okay.
Yeah.
In the water. I got you.
Water.
That is such a. We are so glad to have you back, brother. I mean, it is always a pleasure. You know, I think I shared it on our first show. First time Kevin was with us. He became very, I would say, little brother. You know, whatever, very dear to me. You know, from the onset of our first meeting, we knew that there was a kinship among us. But I do have to always remind that one of the things that really stuck out to me, I remember when I was in the hospital, back in Atlanta some time ago, and he just made it a special point. I think he was in between set or something in our college. He said, I had to come by and check on you. And I so really appreciate him doing that, where others ain't show up at all. But but you know what I'm saying? But see, hey, God has those that you want in your life, and they will be there in season and out of season, at the end of the day. And so I'm really grateful for that. I will never forget that, brother. Never forget that.
Those that be there was supposed to be there, and
Absolutely.
brother, and I do it over and over and over, man. So it's all love from here.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. So let's get into you, bro. Let's what's been going on. Let's tell us about. Unfortunately, we lost Lovecraft. Oh man, I was hurt.
You know what? I up for about 18 Emmys.
Right. Okay.
I honestly believe that show is going to get picked up by another network. I can't see no one picking it up.
Right.
So someone's going to pick up that show. I mean, asked. And I had so much fun on it. It's so much fun,
Right.
So,
right.
It's going to be picked up, man. But it's sad for what happened, but it'll be picked back up. Sure.
Yeah, I mean, and it's the second time, not throwing on HBO under the bus at all, because I think I do give HBO applaud for taking a stand of bringing more African American content or actors to the light that they have, because they've done a lot of things over the years. But they've, as you well know, they've always been like short movies, short series, or things like that. And one of the major ones was Boycott. I mean, Boycott was a phenomenal movie. I think it was probably in my opinion, the best film that had ever depicted Martin and all of the ones that throughout the civil rights movement. It was just really, really good, and they spared nothing in telling that truth, of it. Go ahead. I thought you were going to say something.
Oh, no, I was listening.
Yeah. So, and so I'm just really surprised that they took the stand to, again, not continue Watchmen, which was really,
Watchmen was
I mean,
awful,
it was just like Watchmen was just getting good, all of a sudden they said, oh, well, we're not gonna do it anymore, and they basically, go ahead and say,
It's crazy. It's crazy how some of these shows, and then you know what, other shows, so good is subjective, right? So whatever you think is subjective, because it may not be good, to other people, but
right.
You're getting certain ratings and people are watching your stuff. It becomes baffling to me to see some of these shows being taken off, especially when it's rich in so much truth. And I think
exactly
a lot of times look at Nate Parker, right? When you look at his body of work, sorry about that, and you see, how how things can come against you when you're doing a certain body of work.
Right.
I don't know if you guys have seen American Skin, but oh my gosh, you got to see it. You got to see it.
Okay.
It's one one of those. But you know, it's a shame. But you know what? We just have to. I feel like we just have to continue to go in our truth and move in our
Yeah.
truth, because
Right.
somebody's going to see it, somebody's going to appreciate it, and as long as what's truthful to us, it's going to be appreciated, man. But it is
True.
so just leaving like this.
Yeah, that's true. I
Well,
mean,
I'm hoping that BET Plus or somebody of that type of caliber will pick that up and start streaming that show.
right.
Yeah.
You know, and HBO is known, and it is a disappointment for an audience member like me who grew up on HBO watching those, you know, shows, documentaries, and because HBO is supposed to be a groundbreaking network for
Mhm.
storytelling of
Mhm.
that nature, and especially with, you know, shows like Witchcraft, who opened up the conversation of the Emmett Till story, of the Tulsa, Oklahoma,
Mhm.
of massacre,
Mhm.
and some other great history lessons that we are still trying to analyze and dissect to this day.
Mhm.
And just be, now that it's now being wiped off, like it's not going to come back.
Right.
But the fact that has not been wiped, the slate has been wiped clean with those shows, what can we, latch on to as a foundation for, I hate to say, for our culture, because that opened up a lot of questions, especially during the George Floyd situation,
Yes. Mhm.
especially when it came down to voting rights. It opened up those questions for those who needed answers.
Right.
So I think for people like me who were really attuned to those shows, it is a disappointment, especially for me as an HBO follower. I'm like, come on now, what's the deal?
Right.
But they have this new animated show about the Little Prince. Have y'all heard about this with Prince George and the royal family? Now that, to be honest with you, if HBO used up all of that money and resource to support this crap instead of the masterpiece of a Lovecraft and of a especially the other show that you mentioned, then that is a disappointment.
Right.
That's a disappointment.
This country still has a long way to go.
Right.
We've come a long way, but we still have a long way to go. I mean, we're still dealing with the whole voters, suppression.
Right.
And John Lewis, people like John Lewis who fought for us to vote, right? And yet and still we're still dealing with that. I mean, there's trying to still, pass laws to weigh our protection to vote. Like we're back in 1950. So that bleeds over in, right? Corporate, into entertainment and into everything. And so you see little pieces of injustices everywhere, right? I have a friend who, and it's sad, he's my buddy, but it's like you're gonna have certain friends that when you talk to and you express how you feel about situations like that, they combat it with, oh, well, at least it's not, we're not in, shackles anymore. We're not this. And it's like, wait. We were never supposed to be in shackles, my man. So it's like, you have certain people like that. And I just try to educate them. But we got to all be coherent and come together, because when you still have friends like that who are Black, who don't really see it because they're trying to look past it because they're happy or they're satisfied with where they are now, it becomes a struggle, not just against the oppressor, but against our own people. So one of those things, man, we just have to pray and keep our heads up and keep moving forward in our own truth.
Right. Well, I mean, you bring a very good point about that, and one of the things that kind of combining what you're saying is that the one thing I do love about this industry and collectively my cohorts, on the show is that, one of the missions of Truth Behind the Truth is to continue to establish and enlightening the African-American experience in a way that is acceptable by all. Now, of course, we can't get into all of the deep stuff. They may be sure that we do that. We're not afraid of it. And Parnell, he'll get in there. Parnell will get in there.
Parnell wants to get in there now.
You'll get in there, okay? And that's what I love about it. Yeah. But one of the things is that you brought up is that, and one of the things I can say about where we stand in this industry is that as long as we continue to bring integrity about what we do, then I think that sets a platform for us to be able to be at the table making stronger demands. You know what I mean? And so what I love about that opportunity is that the platform that we're setting, for that, because I know that we have people watching this show. Maybe they may not want to chime in or whatever the case may be, but they are giving the different levels of feedback in terms of like, wow, you guys are like so professional, outside of all of the other things that are going on out there in these other conversations. So that lets me know that Harold's wisdom, Parnell's wisdom, Donald's wisdom, my wisdom, and now your wisdom is touching in a way that the other communities are taking stock as to what, hey, these are typically on a regular basis for African American men that have a very strong platform, but not being strong with what they say, but not being hard fist at it. You know what I mean? And I think that gives us a way to be at the table, having great conversations at the table, and hopefully, reconciliation, in many ways, And a lot of the projects, well, again, I'm going to stop running my mouth, but a lot of the things that Truth Behind the Truth wants to do is to keep that integrity, empower, small filmmakers, and things like that, independent filmmakers, so they can tell their stories, and get out there in a way that they need to say them, at the end of it. But anyway, go ahead. I'm not running my mouth. Everybody got a question that wants to. Harold, you can go ahead.
No, I agree with what Kevin was saying. I think, though, a lot of it has to do with worthiness.
Pull your mic up a little bit, Harold.
A lot of it has to do with worthiness, and people don't feel worthy, and so they'll accept anything and not feel like they have a voice to speak up.
Mm-hmm.
And until you feel that you are worthy, you'll sit in silence. You'll be scared to speak up. You'll be scared to voice your opinion because you don't think. And a lot of that just has to do with our history here in America, where we've not been, when we've not been valued, and so. Even though, slavery was 400 years ago when it started, we still are seeing the impact and feeling the impact of that.
So true. So true.
That's so true, man. It's a shame. It's really a shame. I mean, even something as simple as I've gone to restaurants with my friends, or just, hanging out, and my food comes back, and if I order like a chicken sandwich, right? And if it's dry or my fries are cold, I'm like, hey, and especially if it takes a while to get it, I'm going to say, hey, this came back dry. You mind if I, speak to a manager? Manager come and, hey, this was dry. We waited for a while. Could we be, accommodated some kind of way? And I say it, and I'll be, to be extremely, pleasant, not rude, right? But you'd be surprised how many of my friends have actually said, that's a bit too much, or they'll say, no, don't send it back. Like, come on, it's not that.
Yeah.
I'm like, I work hard for my money, right? I'm coming. So if I'm going to take my time, something we can't get back, right, and support your establishment, I feel like I should, get the best service, right? But even in small stuff like that, you'd be so surprised. Like you said, I mean, we just don't. A lot of us don't feel worthy enough because we're just like, what? Let's just accept bare minimum because it's better than what we had.
Right.
Not realizing that what we had wasn't good enough.
Right.
So,
I see Dylan fusses at me a lot of times when I'm because when I'm out, I expect the 100% over it and above and then a quarter more. And I in a heartbeat, I mean, I will put an establishment in place, and I will simply say this is unacceptable service, because first of all, my parents taught me to be that way. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, so I have never lived in a position of lowering my standard. At the end of the day, and I don't take any regret for that. I mean, I give good customer service, I expect it back, and if you don't give it to me, then I'm going to go to the next level. And if it's not at that level, then I will push the limit to go to the CEO of the company. But you damn well for sure, okay, somebody gonna hear.
And then when the manager comes out and says, "Oh my gosh, well, your food is good. You can keep it or not. Let's bring you some drinks and whatever you need, it's on the house." Then they'll look at me like, and I'm like, all you have to do is open your mouth.
Right.
Exactly. Exactly.
I was about to say, Parnell, did you want to say something before I even utter the word?
Well, I mean, it is wow. There's so much. First, I wanted to touch on the whole thing with Lovecraft Country and Watchmen. I think both of those shows, with talking about the Tulsa massacre, really opened up a nationwide conversation about the history of racism in this country, and really make people, like when we hear Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, and, oh, America's not a racist country, and I'm like, let me take you back to history class. Now, we may not want to be, but our history is filled with racism. So yeah, it is. But when shows like Lovecraft Country and Watchmen start showing Black people being empowered, it only goes so far before people get scared. Like, oh, we don't want Black people to get any ideas now. And I saw like the map of what the second season, what the U.S. was going to look like on Lovecraft Country, and like the indigenous people had all this land that they were in control of. Black folks had all this land that we were in control of, and then there was like a little strip of land that was white land, that white people had. And I'm like, okay, see, they wasn't ready for that idea to even be a fantasy in Black people's mind, And that's the thing that is kind of like, I mean, somebody's like, no, Parnell, you're reaching too far. But I'm like, am I though? Because I think when we see how white men marched in Charleston talking about, you will not replace me, you will not replace me. And we're seeing how the people of the global majority are becoming people of the United States majority, that scares the hell out of some white people who are afraid of what happens when white people are no longer the majority. What happens when white people don't run everything? And it's like, well, what happens is everybody else gets a more fair shot.
Right.
That's what happens. Right. We're not going to throw white people into slavery. I don't think they're. I was wondering, like, okay, so in the Black controlled lands, would they be sundown towns where white people had to get out before the sun came down?
Wow.
Or would it just be like, or would it be a thing like, yeah, y'all can come on through, but we're running it, but we don't have no problem with y'all being here.
Wow. Right.
Just show some respect, which we see all the time that Black people do with folks. Like, as long as you come up where we are and act like you got some sense, there's no problem.
Right.
There's only a problem when you come into Black neighborhoods, the Black establishments, and act like you're running shit.
Right.
That's when we have problems.
Right.
It's like, wait a minute, do you not see all these Black people over here running this? What makes you think that you can come up over here and rule?
Right.
And then when we put the smack down, then we're violent. Why y'all so angry? So, no, we weren't angry until you came over and acted fool.
Right.
So that's what shows like that. Well, I know I get so in my thing, but shows like that really put that empowering mindset into Black people's mind. And spoiler alert for anybody who didn't see Lovecraft Country. I'll give you a second to mute me.
Okay.
Okay. Now, so with that ending, with all the magic being taken away from white people,
right?
It's like she's like, not just you, all white people. White people all around will no longer be able to access magic. Woo!
Yes. Yeah.
Ooh,
yeah. That was heavy.
That, even in a mindset, in a fantasy world, is frightening to people who have been used to being in power on everything.
Right.
So I think that was just a little bit too much for folks. Like, I don't even want them fantasizing about that. With Watchmen, I understand the creator early on said it wasn't going to be a second season, which I don't understand. If I write a hit show that's getting Emmy nominated and Golden Globes and all this stuff, I'm like, okay, well, even if originally I wasn't thinking about it, you damn Skippy, I'm gonna write.
Right, exactly.
I don't understand that.
Yeah.
And it would have been amazing to see a Black woman with the power of Dr. Manhattan.
Right,
what?
Exactly. Yeah, right, exactly. True enough.
But what is it going to take for us as a Black culture to let people know that we are in control or we deserve better? Because as we have learned through other organizations that we have seen over the past week who can cancel one person, we can do the same thing. But what is wrong? What is the problem? Where is the disconnect? Is it that we don't have that type of get up and go, or is it that we just don't have it in us to just join together and say we want to see better content?
Well, I mean,
I
can kind of answer that, and you guys, I'm going to cut you off.
But I want to ask Kevin: Is there a disconnect? Is there something that we could do better as a culture to say we want to see these shows, or we will support these shows? What can we do to see more content like this? Because it needs to be shown.
So one of the things about Tulsa, Oklahoma, was that 1921. the bombings happen, right? Terrorism on, you know, U.S. soil by white people, right? That was a terrorist attack. Is because we understood what it meant to bring the dollar back, right, into our community, right? We understood what it meant to be coherent. We understood what it meant to love each other and work together. And as Booker T. Washington said, you know, he said, we can be as together as the hand, but as separate as the fingers, right? We can still be in the United States of America, but we still want our own stuff. And so when they realized how powerful, I mean, we started doing, I don't want to make up numbers, but the statistics were crazy as to how much business we were doing with the rest of the world, right? It wasn't, that's why Tulsa was so powerful, because we were doing international business, not just. And so when that was recognized, and it was like, wait a minute, hold up. And so I say all of that to say this: we've lost it from then till now, right? We've lost it. Some say it was the Willie Lynch letter that said, you know, okay, we can free them physically, but as long as we have their minds mentally, right? And so some say it was that. Some say that, you know, it was the loss of the black man, you know, when they had slaves fighting against each other, that showed that black men were weak, right? And so there's all of these things, but I really believe that what we need to start doing is really coming together, and that's starting to happen. Bishop Jamal Bryant, they're establishing a new I don't know if you guys know that, but they're establishing a new Wall Street, Black Wall Street.
Right. Yeah. I remember reading about that. Right.
I think the shopping center is going to have like 200 black businesses, all run by blacks. So when we start doing that, and when we stop running to them and start working on building, like you guys are doing it.
Yeah.
You're doing it right now with this station, a platform to be able to speak, right? So as long as we have people like you guys to all come together and we do it in our own way, I really feel like we're going to get back there. And that's what they're scared of.
I so thank you for that, Kevin. I so agree with that. You know, the one thing I wanted to speak to about what you were saying, even what Jamal Bryant is doing, you know, the one thing that we have to be very careful about in the development, as you said, mindsets and all of the above and between. One thing we have to understand is that when you invest a dollar into that particular business of whatever, it doesn't matter where that business is located, invest that money. Because I think when we say community, people think that you got to be, you know, on one street. You know what I'm saying? But it's not like that. You know what I'm saying? What you want in North Carolina, where Harold is, you want the good living now to be on 4 blocks with the vitamin shop. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, expanding that horizon. You know what I mean? So he's got the good living started in North Carolina. Then he wants to put one in New York. Then he wants to put one in Atlanta. You see what I'm saying? So we got to understand that regional empowerment is very much important, you know, and not so much staying in one specific spot, thinking you're supporting the community. Yeah, at the end of the day, because we're everywhere. You know what I mean? Quick story. I remember, matter of fact, it was actually a young lady I went to church with some years ago back in Atlanta, and I think we were talking about business. Oh, I was telling her about when I was in Paris. Okay, and what I experienced when I was in Paris is that all of the people of color didn't have anybody to do their hair on a regular basis, be it barbers or beauticians. I mean, oh my God, you see some weave.
I see some on the UK panel.
Okay, you see some weeds out. You know, I'm being funny, y'all, but I mean, it's true, but funny at the same time. You see some weeds, you be looking like her, like, girl, where you get that horsetail from? You know, I mean, bad. Okay, like and then also, and then the guys, you know, hair all down the back of their neck. You know what I mean? I'm like, yeah, had you like had a haircut like anytime soon? But here's the thing, is that there are necessarily no barbers or beauticians that are able to, you know, to celebrate the African American experience in Paris. Now we're there in big numbers. You know what I'm saying? So what I said to her, I said, you know what? Why don't you set up a shop in a barbershop in Paris? Girl, you'd make all kind of money. You know, oh, I don't do nothing like that. I don't want to go all the way over there. You know how they are with people to this. Really?
See?
Really? You see what I'm saying? So when you have a lack of vision for yourself individually, you know, it's hard to empower people around you. So one in the nutshell, and we're going to move on, is that you got to empower the mindset. You know what I'm saying? If you don't change the mindset of thinking this small way of thoughts, then you'll never expand the community in which it needs to be empowered to have the wealth that we so well deserve. Yeah. You know, at the end of the day.
That was so good. That was so good because it starts with you personally, right? And I'm gonna give a quick story just to piggyback off of that real quick.
Right.
So you know, I go to the beauty shops around here because, you know, I cut my own hair. So sometimes when my clippers go bad, I just go get some more, right? I've been going to this Asian shop or store for about 6 years since I've been here. And I said, man, I've been more conscious about giving my money back to us. I said, I wish that there was a black beauty shop. All I did was Google. I went in my phone and I Googled black beauty shops because all you see is Asians owning all of these shops, right? And I did, and there was one 7 minutes away. Now I've been here for 6-7 years. So I'm there and I walk in and they must have thought that I won $1 million because I'm just cheesing from ear to ear, right? And they said, oh, come on in. And I said, oh my gosh, I said, you don't know how happy I am that I can bring my money here. And I'm looking around and they got the same products and even better. Because, you know, a lot of times our establishments be running out of stuff, right? But they had the same product and even better. And so I purchased my stuff and I look at she was an owner, it was a female that owned it. And so she just looked and I said, thank you. You know, I said, I really appreciate you guys and I'll be back. She said, well, welcome home. And when she said, skills, because it didn't just mean that I was coming to another store or a black owned store. It meant that welcome home, like you're back with family now.
Wow.
And so I think, you know, once we realize that, look, once we become more intentional about spending our money where it needs to be in the black community, opportunities will start opening and you'll realize how many black businesses there are to accommodate us.
Right. You know, I love what you're saying, and I always like to preface, you know, to our Caucasian family, you know, in what we're saying in, you know, lights of conversations and things like that. And it's not to separate the ideas. But here's the thing. You love us. You know, I mean, we have friends of the show that love us, that support us, and those that, you know, secretly watch us or whatever the case may be. It's not so much about the color of the business, you know what I'm saying, as we're saying. It's about the establishment of the business and contributing more wealth and money to the business at the end of the day, okay? We appreciate everybody that comes, like, to our show. At the end of the day, I'm sure Harold has got several people that shop from him online, for, you know, as far as a good living now. You know, at the end of the day, we know that the dollar is just green. Okay, at the end of the day, it's green. It's going to spin. It's going to green, wherever the case may be, and we appreciate the support. You know, in the process of that. So do not support because you know that it's a business of color. You know, at the end of the day, if you see something that we can get better at to make it better, hey, share it with the owner of that establishment. You know, so that we can be more, you know, more prosperous in you know, in the environment that, you know, that is given. You know, because we're here to make money like everybody else. You know, the promise of America is not just for one sector of people; it's for everybody. All right. But unfortunately, because of the African-American experience, we've had to fight deeper to be able to be a part of that experience. And it should be there for everybody, you know, in the scheme of all. So, hey, I support Harold and where I can, you know, hey, you know, I ain't got I ain't got Perno's t-shirt yet, you know, but I'm going to get it so we can have a t-shirt day. All right. But we got to get everybody to get a True t-shirt as well. Okay. Now I'm going to say to my aunts, hey, none of y'all been buying that t-shirt. All right. Black on business, but then we're gonna go there. All right, we ain't gonna go there. But anyway, we're gonna move on, Kevin, because we want to talk a little bit more about what what projects you're involved in right now. Then we'll pick up some of the stuff on the other side of that. So, kind of share what you are, what you're working on, what we can expect to be looking out for you on.
Definitely. And Harold, send me your information. You guys send me your information. I will support. Trust me. So, you know, whatever.
Wow.
Your mic went out, Kevin. Your mic went out, Kevin. Can't hear you.
Get back. Did I get back?
Oh, yeah,
there you go.
You're
okay.
Good.
Got a phone call. Sorry about that. So I I just came off of the set of Insecure, so I'll be on Insecure this season. Had the awesome experience. Thank you. So I had the awesome experience of Kerry Washington. And so
I love Kerry Washington. Oh my God! When you get through, I'll tell you about Kerry Washington to me. But anyway, go ahead.
She's so down to earth. And so also I worked with Yvonne Orji. She's actually one of the lead characters along with Issa Rae. So I worked with her in a scene, and it was just awesome. So just did that. There's a movie coming out that I actually got to work with. I don't know if you know who Charmin Lee is, JB. I know you know who Charmin Lee is, right? She has the blonde hair. She was in a quad. She's on The Inspector. She was Michael B. Jordan.
Oh yeah.
Just Mercy. That woman is working. So she directed a film. Shout out to my boy Lem Johnson and Karan Butler. Karan is in it too. Terry Vaughn's husband. So the movie is called Christmas at the Frat House. And so that's going to be coming out soon. I play lead in that. I'm so excited about that.
Okay.
There's just a host of other things that's dropping. So yeah. You know, I'm moving. I'm getting it.
Man, I'm so proud of you. You know, I mean, I every time I see something that is a part of, you know, I'm just, you know, I look at, I think it was when I think one of the decorators, but I remember when we were at Troy's play, you know, at that point when I told you, I said, you know what, I look at you and you call it prophetic or whatever the case may be, but I told you at that particular point that I said, your destiny is greater than you can ever imagine that you at this particular point would be. I said, I think I remember, I see films, I see TV, I see awards all over you. And it's just, it does my heart so good to see those words come to pass, you know, I mean, over your life. So it's just, it really does. But anyway, about my Kerry Washington story. So, you know, I work with Kerry on the needle story. And when I tell you that, you know, I put that in the universe, that I will have the opportunity to work with her in a principal capacity again, she was the most sweetest person on set that I had ever been around. I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, the one thing I will give her a shout out to is that one of the background talent girls that we were shooting at the Georgia World Congress Center, whatever is down there, and the girl, it was too hot in the building, so the girl had kind of passed out. You get now, mind you, okay, we all know how sets are. Okay, not a damn PA went and checked on that girl. Now she's laying on the floor, guys, literally laying on the floor. Do you know Kerry broke scene? Okay, she stopped, went over and got on her knees in front of the young lady to make sure that she was okay. She says, "Anybody got any water over here? Get this girl some water. What is wrong with y'all?" I mean, they felt like complete asses to be at the end of the day. And I mean, I'm looking at them, they look like they're standing with their hands in their pockets, you know?
So and they should have.
Right, exactly. 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 Right. You know, so I mean, in front of that, in the exchange and the conversations that I had, and she honestly took a minute to really speak some very positive things over my life from a spiritual perspective, and I would have never expected that coming from her at that particular moment in time. So I mean, I have nothing but sincere high praise for Kerry Washington. I mean, really, just a beautiful soul. But go ahead, I'm sorry to cut you off.
No. She it's funny because you know, when we were done, I asked her if I could take it, and you wouldn't believe all of the trouble she went through just to take a picture because she had a really big mask, right? You know, for COVID. And so she's, wait a minute, I don't want to wear this big mask. Give me the other. So her assistant goes and gets a smaller one. She's like, no, it's not looking right with him. Another one. And I mean, she's going so much trouble to take a picture with me. And I was like, wow. Like, you know, and so we take, like, look at it. Like the, I said, it's wonderful. Let's take another one. And I'm just like, listen now. I gotta crush you. So sweet. And yeah, so yeah, I tested that. She's awesome person. And you know what? You know, reach our destinies and where we need to be and want to be, right? That's just a testament, because I believe that situations like that happen to kind of store in back of your mind, like, look, you know, once I get there, like, I got to remember that people are people, and I'm a person
That's
just
right.
like anybody else, no matter what level at. So if Kerry Washington, you know, I mean, what Emmy Award winning? I mean, she has so many awards, and she's just a dynamic actor, not just that, but person. If she can treat people like that, then who am I to treat anybody any less? So
Exactly. And I know you see them on a regular basis, the ones that go in with the nose up in the air, you know, at the end of the day, you know, you wonder like, what the hell? You know, I mean, seriously, I mean, really? You know, the only difference between you and me is the air and the opportunity between your ears. That's
Right.
It's only the Z list that don't act without humility. You know, there's humility never goes out of style. You know, it's just the fact that if you know that you're anointed with the talent and you know that you have the power to and that talent to make art and it's powerful, then there is a thing that there's no ego. There shouldn't be no ego in that, because you know where the talent comes from. It's not a selfish what they call vanity type of situation. And you have some people who do think like, well, I am the talent, it's coming from me, it's all about me, it's not about everybody else. But you do have those who know that it is a team effort. And I think in Kerry Washington, I think she might have started in theater, because you get a lot of that from the theater community. Those who have started on the stage know that it's not about me, it's about the team. And I think that's where a lot of some of these actors, I think they get that type of discipline. And I think Kerry might have gotten it from the stage. And she might have gotten it, not to be honest with you, it might have came from just the way she was raised.
True, absolutely.
And to be honest with you, that really shows a lot. It shows, like Kevin, that once you get up there, humility is needed. It's needed to still be there.
Absolutely. Go ahead, Pearl.
Hey, so Kevin, so how did you get started in acting?
So I did a Christmas play in Philly, because I'm from Philadelphia. So I did a Christmas play. It was my first time acting. I was in my early 20s, and I got cast as the lead, for the lead role. And I was like, oh, this is crazy. And so I did the play, and so many people just were delivered and got saved. And I saw the reactions, the responses that I got. I'm like, I did that, right? And I was like, wow. And so that's what got me on the whole path. And so I did theater in Philly for about 8 or 9 years. And then I said, you know what? This is where, Atlanta is where I need to be, because all of my friends went to LA. And I said, I'd rather be, a big fish in a small pond than the other way around, right? And so came here to Atlanta about 7 years ago, and God blessed me, because as soon as I got here, I was a stand-in for Jay Ellis on The Game. Got picked up by an agency, and I was going to sign with one agency, but they were doing some shicey stuff. That worked at that agency. She said, give me your number. I'm going to call you. She called me and said, my husband and I, we're about to start an agency. You don't want to sign with them. You want to sign with us. Come and audition. We need someone like you. I went and auditioned, got picked up by Line Stars agency, and been rocking out ever since. I got about 15 credits under my belt now. And God is good, because I know people who I met coming here, and they haven't done anything. And it's all about that mindset. When you where to go work, and anybody in Philly, we stay on our grind. So I left there to come here, and I said, this is what I want to do. And I'm doing it, man. And I'm so humbled, and I'm blessed. I really am blessed.
That's so beautiful, because in the conversation, Keith Burke is from Philly as well. Yeah, so he, that Philly feel, you know what I'm saying?
Will Smith too.
So that Philly grind, as Keith said, he called it the Philly grind. So, which is really, really awesome in that. So, let's take a few more conversations. Let's talk about what's his name, the touchy feely guy. I'm sorry, the Governor Cuomo, whatever, former Governor Cuomo. And his he like the touchy feely. My thoughts are, Yeah, I think that he should willingly step down from the position. At the end of the day, because it's a very high profile position, you don't want to be, in that arena. However, you got that clown that just left the White House, last year that was doing more than that. Typically, allegedly. Allegedly, all right. Allegedly was sleeping with a porn star. Allegedly, okay. But in Cuomo's situation, here's the thing. He may be the affectionate guy that he presents himself in being. However, he should have used more better judgment. In terms of that, maybe in his culture that he greets, he hugs, he does that. A lot of people do that, at the end of the day. But nowadays, you can't do it. You just can't. Especially if you're a high profile person, because people are always looking for a reason to take you down. At the end of the day, always looking for a reason to take you down. But anyway, anybody speak to that? Anybody besides me?
But it's just go ahead.
Oh, okay. Whoever. Go ahead, Kevin.
Okay.
Go ahead, Kevin.
Okay, cool. I honestly, I would just keep it real. He's a big advocate for the Black community, and if you realize when you watch him, I mean, just everything from the election to everything. I mean, to George Floyd. I've watched him commentate. And he's always, literally giving monologues. Like, okay, if this was a white person, would he be treated like this? And and pausing to make you really think. I'm not sitting up here saying that it wasn't, or what he did, wasn't wrong. I really don't know. I haven't seen a lot. I got to follow it more. From what I've seen, I haven't seen anything that's just like, dude. But I got to follow it more. I'm just going by, but I really feel like anybody that's a person of color or advocates for people of color. I mean, he is a person of color, Cuomo, right? So
he's Italian.
I just think that there automatically be, Hannibal, right? So I just think that you're going to be targeted. And so you got to be really careful being in that, you got to be really careful, because as a Black man, that Me Too movement is real for everybody, but especially as a Black man, because I got to move especially different. Right. And so he needed to be more aware. I just think how I feel on that.
Oh, well, I remember when Obama was president, and there was this one MSNBC anchor. I forget his name. He used to come on every night, but he used to ask this question: why Obama is at home at 6 o'clock in the evening? Why is he why can't he go into these cocktail get-togethers and make deals with the politicians, Republicans, Democrats? Why can't he just go make deals? And you hear stories like this happening, where there are cocktail parties where these types of moves are happening, where women are being accosted, where men are being accosted, actors are accosted, politicians are accosted. But it brought me back to that. And it was a smart move on Obama, knowing that he was the first Black president of this country. He knew that everything he did was going to be scrutinized, and everything that he said was going to be scrutinized. And I didn't blame him. I didn't, even in that moment, I kept saying, I don't blame Michelle for having her husband at home at a certain time when there's women or some men who are out there ready to pounce and ready to, put a fork in his presidency. I'm just saying. But the fact is, when you're in situations like that, and it's not only Cuomo, there are some other people I could name down the list. I want to say Jackson. Right. Keep hope alive. Right. I'm just saying, you got to be careful, because there are people who are ready to diminish your actions, because your actions diminish the message. There is an agenda to get these politicians caught up in situations like this. And I feel bad for the guy, but I don't, in other words, feel bad for him. Because as a man in this system, in this world, in this time, with the Me Too movement and the Time's Up movement, you need to, and not only men, but women too, you need to be you need to be held accountable for what you are doing.
Right. Absolutely.
And some things you just don't need to be too comfortable saying and doing on your job. Your job is to go do what you need to do and go home to your family, to your wife, to your children, not to some secretary that's waiting on you to do whatever trip up because she's ready to get that money.
Right.
And when she gets that money in that limelight, it's done.
That's true.
But ask Tiger Woods.
Go ahead, Harold. Go ahead, Harold.
I think Parnell has a comment because I haven't followed it, so I don't really know what's going on.
Okay, I think Parnell froze on the show.
Yeah.
But yeah, and basically, let's cut it short. He just has, been under fire because he's an affectionate guy. Okay, at the end of the day, and he greets people with a hug, he greets people with a kiss, and he's showing pictures of himself kissing gentlemen on the street, which is fine. Bible says greet your brother with a holy kiss. At the end of the day. So it's taken, I think, well out of context. But again, as you said, Kevin, it's a trap. You know what I'm saying? And then he's gotten entrapped in his own loving behavior. Okay, now.
So they're asking him to resign because he's been affectionate.
Pretty much. But these people have accused him of
sexual harassment.
And that can be such a broad term, sexual harassment. So,
well, it's to the point really now in the workplace that you can't literally even pass behind someone if it's in a tight position without announcing yourself passing through, and other people have to hear because women or whatever said they're pushing up on you or what, especially in the retail environment. You can't. You almost have to tell people, look, can I get by? Because they will accuse. Believe they have taken this thing to the extreme.
Even in the acting world, where that is a very touchy-feely situation.
Right.
And it's not a joke, but it's to be honest, if you have children that are in that industry or any industry that where it's dealing with singing and stage and movies, you need to be there with them.
Right.
Because there are grown people around you, wardrobe people, makeup people, hair people. You don't know what they're doing and what they're saying. And that not only goes for children, but that goes for adults too. You have to be aware of what's going on around you because people can take advantage.
Right.
And they will take advantage because you might not know fully of yourself. You might not hold stock of who you are in that moment because you're so wrapped up in what's going on around you that you forget that. Wait a minute, are you? Don't I think you need to back up?
Right.
I'm just saying, but it's just the fact that you need you got to be aware of your surroundings.
Exactly.
And that's
exactly.
So.
Go ahead, Kevin.
When I was on the set of Insecure, the scene was pretty intense, but I made sure that my fellow actress felt comfortable. And one of the things that I asked her was, what do you feel comfortable with? Can I touch you here? Can I touch you there? And there were some things she said no. I said, okay, cool. Mental note. We had a conversation about it, and it was okay. And so, and it was so funny because Carrie pulled me to the side and she said, thank you so much. I heard what happened and I heard you asking those appropriate, and we just so appreciate you as women, as human beings, first of all, to really, create a comfortable space. So thank you so much. And I said, of course. Working on a quad with Jasmine Rayco.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah.
Great scene, right? They threw that on me. Great scene until 2 days before we did it. Right. So, and I felt like that was kind of, because being a man, I've never raped anybody. Right. So now I'm like, I don't know if those feelings were even considered for men because we're in this position of power because we're men, we're dominant. Right. And so, but we still have to be considered in moments. And I told one of the producers, I said, I got to be honest. This is not the most comfortable scene because I wasn't told and because I didn't get to do my research like I would have liked to. So willing to do it, but I want to make sure that my fellow actress, or actor, she feels comfortable. And she did. And, but it was still like, you got to come to me and give me more time because I'm a man and I need to know how comfortable you are. I got to.
Right.
So
Absolutely.
We're not the same respect though, because it's automatically assumed that men want to, so it's like, no, you, but, So yeah, I've been in a couple interesting situations, and I say all of that to say, I think being a man in this industry, fairly young and still doing my thing, and the person who tries to stay healthy and right and desirable, right?
Right.
I got to be very about who I'm working with and the questions that I ask to make sure that alleviates me from any.
Well, I mean, expounding on the disciplines that are in it, because one thing I do, I can contest and applaud to, again, knowing you personally and then seeing the transformation that you have to make to go into that particular role, and really, as you said, chiseling out that headspace. You know what I mean? To say this is not Kevin, but this is that character, and then really stepping into that, but making that character become authentic. Going back to Lovecraft, because I tell you, when I first saw Lovecraft, I was like, who the hell is this? I mean, because the character was up, because knowing him, and at the end of the day, and then seeing how ruthless he had to become for that moment to shoot somebody on spot. I mean, it was. I mean, at the end, because you're looking at the guy here we see right now, and then for him to shift in that moment, to be just like, how did he have to really look at that character, look at that person different than even the actor that he was working with? You know what I mean? So that hey, Kevin, I applaud you for that. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, because that's good. That takes a lot of discipline. That takes mental discipline. Here's the thing. If people would have even just learned from that, and you and I, when we were talking the other day, one of the things I'd hope that, as we're talking to our actor friends over the next few weeks, is that the disciplines that you take to take on a character, if people would take these same disciplines in their everyday life, can you imagine, where they would be? You know what I mean? The place that they would step in to take the opportunity to say, I don't have to respond to this. And I'm going to put myself on Front Street here. On the way here, I got so damn mad at these drivers here in LA. Okay. Okay. I'm 5 minutes from home. It's taking me almost 15 minutes to get here in an heartbeat. But the thing that made me the most angry, okay, and I said colorful metaphors that I soon repent. I said, okay, God, forgive me for saying this. I'm even not mad as hell. I said it, all right? But the stupidity of it. So this person was going in and out of traffic, thinks you're going to get hit. So you're going to speed up and try to cut me off from getting to my exit. Oh, I went off. Okay. I'm going to be honest. I really went off. Okay. But my point about that is that, so where was that headspace? You know what I mean? At that particular moment, where was I allowing my absolute of the control that I should be operating in that? Or did I dive over into a character? Well, typically, I guess what? I gave over to the character, and the character came through, and he was authentic. At the end of the day, he was. But anyway, I mean, he came through.
That was a cussing preacher.
That was a cussing preacher. Actually, he came.
I haven't seen him in a minute.
He came through big time, baby. I'm telling you. All right. But anyway, Harold, you had something you want to add to what we're saying?
No, I just think that this was really a rich conversation. But I think one of the things that was really important and that we talked about, and that Kevin mentioned, was
pull your mic up a little bit, bro.
Oh, the importance of supporting Black businesses. And I think that was one of the outcomes of all of the racial uprising and everything that happened during the pandemic. I think we all just became a lot more conscientious, and it was good to see folks intentionally looking to support Black businesses, because we realized that if we don't have economic power, we don't have anything. Right.
Right.
And so it was just really good to see that outcome during this pandemic.
Right.
Wow. Harold, you're so. I'm sorry. Can you hear? Oh, okay. Harold, you're so right, man. Because so I don't know if you guys. So I listen. What station? The gospel station here, and so Kathy Hughes, she comes on, and she has a segment. It's "What's Your Reality?" Right, and so she gives a breakdown on how, with all of the trillions that we spend our money on Black people, us very, 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 like 2% comes back to the, Black community, right? And so she says, every day I'm going to give about 3 to 5 businesses that you can go and patronize that are Black-owned businesses. And I love that. And so I didn't realize that it was really playing into my psyche until maybe about 3 or 4 months later. And I started becoming more like, no, I don't want to spend my dollar there. And I'm like, I need to find a Black business. And so as long as people are doing stuff like that, as long as we have dialogue like this to talk about spending, you know, where we spend, I think we kind of continue that wave, and it's just bigger and bigger and bigger, Harold. So you're right, man.
Well, you know, and speaking to that, and then Kevin, I'll let you wrap it up with some great words at the end here. You know, I even want to do to support the show and everything else I got to do out here. You're working for the furniture company that I work for, Ashley. You know, one thing that disturbs me, and I mentioned it on the show, you know, before, is that when not okay. And I mean this delicately, but I mean it seriously at the same time. When you have an opportunity, especially in a sales environment or whatever, and you see a person of your same color that's there, and you're able to support that particular person, we should go and support that person, because again, that is investing in that individual as their Black dollar, because you know they're going to get the commission, you know they're going to get whatever in the process of that. But it disturbs me that, and I have to experience it, that I experience more segregational points coming from my people when they walk into the store versus I have from anybody else, you know, and I'm a little disappointed by that, you know, I got to say. You know, I really do, you know, or here's the thing. If I do so happen to get that particular individual, then they want me to break Ashley's bank, and I'm not going to do that. Okay. You want me to give it to you for free. I mean, come on, you know, really, you know, there's an imbalance to the opportunity here, because that's the same way as buying product from Harold. You know what I'm saying? You know, this is the price. This is what no, not just because Harold looks like me that Harold got only charge me a quarter for it, when he knows he needs to be charged $25. You know, I mean, come on. You know, so that's another growth that we have to find, that we have to do in the community in order to be able to support something. Just because, even if you walk into, don't expect it to be the less than, because I'm telling you, when the Asian community goes into their community, they are very absolute in that they pay what they're supposed to pay.
But
it all goes back to self-worth, because if I don't see the self-worth in myself,
right,
I can't see the self-worth. I don't see any value in you.
Absolutely. You're right.
And that's true. And the fact that people, they like to complain that Black businesses overpriced, but I see you in CVS's, I see you in Gucci, I see you in whatever Fenty, whatever Michael Jordan shoe, latest shoe, but you talk about overpricing. And then you have the nerve to talk about customer service. When you walk into a McDonald's and you feel like you've been attacked because of your skin color, you go into any other corporate store, you feel some type of way because you are Black, but you'll be the first one to yell out about Black business. They got bad customer service. Sometimes it's just one of those things. I always laugh at the hypocrisy sometimes that goes on within our community, where we want to feel, you know, I need to feel important because I'm supporting you. But you will not go into any other business and have that mindset, and that's the saddest thing. I work at a corporate drugstore, and I treat everybody the same. Everybody's not going to feel, you know, is going to feel some type of way because they feel like you're coming at me a certain, you know, people are all not going to be alike in their situation. But you know, it's just sad as us as a people. Like you said, we don't see the value in ourselves. Right.
You know, I'll say this and then let you finish out, Karen. Yeah, you know, you mentioned about Michael Jordan and in the shoe industry, which he really consistently put Nike on the map. Okay, at the end of the day, consistently. But we have to all realize is that his portion is not as great as a portion as Nike's getting in terms of profit of the shoe. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, you know, and they don't realize is that, you know, they may be buying this particular shoe, hopefully thinking they're more buying because of the style and everything else. But literally, I think his percentage, I think he did raise it up at one particular point, because he was getting less than whatever percentage off of it at one particular point in time when the shoe first came out. Wow. But I know negotiations or whatever. So he's probably at probably about the 25% percentile of that, you know, the actual purchase of the shoe after going to manufacturing and all those type of things, which is good. Okay, now don't get me wrong, that's a good dollar. You know, we're looking at 25%, but he's still not getting 90% of that cost. You know, at the end of the day, 90% of that shoe is still not going to him, you know, at the end of the day. But enough said about that. Kevin, go ahead and get some closing things that you want to share with us, and then we'll go ahead from there.
I just think that this platform is so needed. So I want to thank you, JB, Dylan, Harold. Pernell, he just left. I want to thank you guys. I'm honored. I'm honored to be around kings, men of substance, because I don't always get that. especially, you know, where I'm at. And so this actually gives me, you know, the encouragement to start my own blog
Wow.
or start my own
Wow.
radio show
Wow.
or whatever.
Wow.
So it happened because
Wow.
people see me and they see television, they're like, actor, but I'm so much more. This is
Yes.
this is what I like to do,
You're
but
right.
this is completely who I am.
Right.
And so platforms like this gives me an opportunity to really express who I really am. And I run into people and they're like, oh my God, like I'm watching you on this and I see your pictures and you seem so this way, but when I meet you, you're that way. So that's why I love being on platforms, so people can actually feel who I am as like my soul, and that's so important. So thanks guys for giving me that opportunity to share that.
Oh man, thank you. I mean, because you know, as you and I talked about, this is one of the reasons why I like having my acting, you know, community be a part of this, because as we, you know, talked about the other day, Kevin, it allows you guys to be transparent. It allows you to be able to speak from an authentic place. Yeah. You know, and I, you know, I bless you for being here and taking the time out, you know, for doing that. And you're always welcome to come back and kick it with the fellas. Okay. You know, don't wait for the invitation. Just Jamie, I want to be on the show tonight. Okay. Not a problem. Okay, you come on in. You know, hey, we send you the link and you just pop up. Okay. No problem. Yes. No problem at all. But anyway, guys, we want to thank you so much for tuning in to Truth Behind the Truth tonight. Again, as always, it's been an awesome conversation. We hope that you have been inspired, which we know you have if you take on the right mindset to be inspired, okay? That is our goal. That is our mission, all right? Please share this out if you're catching the tail end of it, or the recycled version, meaning the recorded version. Hey, go back and look at it. Maybe you missed out some points or whatever. Share it with your friends. All you do is click on the link and you can share it all over the world. All right, as we are all over the world. But thank you again. We will be back next week. All right, with this kicking it with the fellas or hanging out with the fellas, however we want to word it. You know, we will be here next week with actor Keith Burt. So it's gonna be an awesome another night hearing from another powerful man in this community. All right. Guys, have a great night. Harold, thank you, sir, as always. And we wish Parnell well in his show tonight that he's doing tonight. Hey, Kevin, come back, man. You know, just let me know. You are always welcome. The door is always open at any given time. And literally, the door is open here in LA when you need someplace to stay when you get back out here, too. Okay. For sure. All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. We'll see you again next week on what? The Truth Behind the Truth. All right. Yes. Good night, guys. Yes.